ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, January 13th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got comments from head coach Cornelius Jackson coming up. Had a chance to head over to the Henderson Center earlier today. Students were back. It was full of activity on the campus. I think we're all finally digging out from the snowstorm, and of course more predicted to be coming our way. So that's going to be interesting. The herd's going to be on the road for the next few days. So looking forward to that. And of course, we'll hear from Coach a little bit later on. Good weekend for the Thundering Herd. Absolutely good weekend. You get 3 out of 4 in the homestand, and you get 2 this weekend. That's good. Thundering Herd, of course, getting the victory on Saturday against Georgia Southern, 81-69. Marshall in that game shot 50%, 27 of 54. From the three-point line, the Herd shot 10 of 26, 38.5. Free throws, 63%, 17 of 27. So the Thundering Herd getting things done. Next up, James Madison. That will be on Thursday. We're going to have that game for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and on 93.7 The Dog. So we've got a busy week of basketball for you. Good crowd as well. You know, with the weather, a lot of people were just happy to get out finally. Good crowd. Early on, it looked a little empty, but as folks started trickling in, it looked really good out there, about the 4,000, give or take, both games, including Saturday. Really good crowd on Saturday. I was pleasantly surprised with that crowd. It was a good atmosphere as well. I mean, we're using that adjective a lot. Good. Everything was good. I'm happy. I had a good time. I think a lot of people had a good time on Saturday. Of course, the Superstars were in attendance at James Madison, and James Madison lost against Appy 86-66. I hate that for them. Superstars' curse continues, so I'm hoping that wherever James Madison goes, the Superstars on the road are there as well. They're not that good on the road, but they're pretty good at home. They have won their last 5 games at home. They are not very good on the road, and the Thundering Herd is not very good on the road right now. Yes, Marshall's won 3 of 4 at home. Yes, Marshall's 10-8. Yes, Marshall's 3-2 right now. Marshall 0-6, including an 0-1 Sun Belt road record this season, and we got to go back a ways. Last year, when Marshall was on the road at Texas State, it won. And that was it. Thundering Herd has lost 13 straight road games in a row. These are true road games, not neutral games where it's like a tournament. Instead, we're talking pure, straight-up road games. True, honest to goodness, you go to someone else's place. Marshall right now, 13 road games in a row going back to last season. So you got to get that cleaned up. We're going to hear from Coach Jackson on that a little bit later on as well. And, of course, we're going to talk to you. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Get his thoughts on what happened this weekend. Yeah, Michael Dawson had 21 points. Nate Martin, he looked pretty good out there as well. Had a double-double with 18 points, 13 rebounds. Zane Mingo had 17 points, 7 assists. Marshall gets an early lead, and then off to the races we go, including that 10-0 run, which pretty much sealed the deal. I know Marshall kind of let Georgia Southern back in a little bit. Marshall led 45-35 at halftime. Marshall was really good on the boards. Out-rebounded Georgia Southern 42-26. By the way, I hope someone got a really good shot of Zane Mingo with his poster slam. I think that was about 2:23 left in the game. if I remember, wrote that down correctly. But Marshall was good in that game. Marshall finished 50% from the field, 27 to 54. I want to see more of that. I think you want to see more of that as well. And if Marshall can play at a higher pace and a higher tempo, we're going to see a few more wins. But you got to get that road win, that first road win. Just get that off your back, because if Marshall can't win, you've got more of those. So you need to start finding a way to win on the road, or we're going to be talking about the Herd losing 14 straight on the road and 7 straight this season. So we're getting into all of that. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll get your thoughts on everything that's happened. There's a lot to get into. Unfortunately, the women lose this weekend as well, so not a good record starting off for the women. There's some good news, though. The women, I think, are getting closer. It doesn't look like it's bad basketball. It's just trying to get it put together. And so, speaking of the women, the basketball team's going to be playing host to Central Michigan in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. That's the February 8th MAC game. And this is going to be the first meeting between the Marshall women's basketball team and Central Michigan's ladies since the 2004-2005 season. So it's been a while since Marshall has faced off against Central Michigan. So that'll be interesting a little bit. And somebody was asking me today, well, why isn't Marshall in this thing? Marshall plays its own MAC Sunbelt Challenge. I'm perfectly fine with Marshall scheduling MAC schools, scheduling schools that we care about. Ohio, I'm good with Toledo as well. You want to throw Miami in there? I'm good with that. I would schedule schools like that. I would just make my own schedule and decline, if possible, as much as possible, any inclusion in this MAC Sunbelt Challenge. It's a good idea. I think the two leagues should run with this even further. But at the end of the day, Marshall's sort of a unique situation, having so much history with the Mid-American Conference. It doesn't really excite me. It does when it's Marshall and, say, Ohio. That's a matchup I want to always see. That's a fun matchup. I'm good with Toledo as well, and you can get a couple other schools. It's not that I'm opposed to MAC schools. It's just I think Marshall does a better job. Let's bring in Ohio. Let's go to Ohio. Let's do that. Let's have that and the control of the schedule makers on the Marshall side of things a little bit more than just hoping that, okay, what's the draw going to be? And the better you are, the better your opponent. And that's fine, too. That's the whole point of this thing. But you don't want to schedule games that not necessarily have any interest, but how many MAC schools, and this isn't a slight against the MAC, but just how many MAC schools do you really want to see the Herd play on a yearly basis? Yeah, I think I'd name 2 or 3 that we'd like to see. And this is basketball, solely basketball. I could throw Akron in there. Definitely would like to see Miami on the schedule again. Always Ohio. That needs to be scheduled and played every single year. But on the women's side, I think you can get away with this a little bit more. And, of course, the Herd in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge facing off against Central Michigan on the women's side. We've got plenty to get into. We're going to hear from Coach Jackson. We're going to hear from you. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I had someone ask me on Saturday during our post-game text line, wanted to know what I thought about Coach Jackson, how I felt, how is Coach Jackson fitting in to the head coaching role. And he's over 500 right now. 10-8, it's winning basketball. 2 games over 500, it's winning basketball. Season still to go. Learning. First-year head coach, always learning. This isn't first-year head coach at Marshall. This is first-year head coach, period. So, a little different. Coaching's coaching. Basketball's basketball. He was a player. He's moved his way up, and he is now the head coach. He's not new to this. But how to manage the game could be a little different than being an assistant coach. You're thinking about different things. So, I give him a favorable review. At the end of the day, the only thing I care about is wins and losses. That's the evaluation I'm going to give him. The Herd's 10-8. They're 3-2 in league play. That's it. That's the evaluation. I want to see more wins and losses. That's my evaluation. Win more games than you lose. Get far into the conference tournament. Ultimately, the true metric of success is conference tournament championship, NCAA appearance, win a game, go from there. That's it. That's how I measure a coach. How many conference championships did that coach bring? Did the coach win the regular season championship? Did the coach win the tournament championship, get the automatic bid into the NCAA tournament? Did the coach win in the NCAA tournament? Is this program winning consistently? I don't want this to be a situation where if you're, say, the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're consistently winning and you're happy, Mike Tomlin, great coach, consistent. Playoffs, not the guy I'm dialing up. And that matters. Absolutely matters. It's one thing to be consistent and win. It's another thing to get to the next level. And that's what ultimately everyone's playing for, or championship. So that's my evaluation of coach. A little bit more detail than I gave on Saturday, but that's my evaluation. He's fitting into the role quite nicely. He's very personable. He knows the game. He played the game. And I honestly believe that as the season progresses, we're going to see this team get better. Will the team be ready for the tournament run? That's to be seen. But going on the road, these next few, we'll see if the Herd has turned it around just yet. So that's, again, my evaluation. Your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got Coach Jackson coming up. Some of his comments from earlier today on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
People's Bank, working together, building success. Member FDIC. Robin Fowler State Farm, with offices in Gallipolis and Middleport, Ohio. Online at agentrobinfowler.com. Erica Blake, Realtor in Ohio and West Virginia. Realty Exchange, Shane Radcliffe Broker.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude,
How's the temperature?
it's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay, Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're getting you set for the week ahead. Marshall in action on Thursday, taking on James Madison. So back at it once again. What'd you think about the weekend? 304-396-TALK. Good crowd for both games. So saw a lot of you there. Glad to see a lot of you there showing up for this one. We're hopefully going to get some better weather soon, but not a worry this week. We've got Herd games on the road. Keep it locked right here. Always on 93.7 The Dog. And, of course, as soon as we're done with football, we're going to be having it all right back here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So I had a chance to catch up with Coach Jackson earlier today. Good to talk to him again as the Thundering Herd getting set for James Madison. Also, Saturday at Coastal Carolina, so a little traveling for the Thundering Herd coming up. First question for me. I wanted to ask this sooner, but I asked it a little bit later on. But this is really the first question that we've got to answer, and we still don't have that answer. Obinna Anachili-Killen, what's his status? Is he going to be ready for the game? The good news is Coach is optimistic, but I really didn't get a clear answer on that.
Yeah, I hope Obinna's ready. You know, I know he's doing everything in his wheelhouse to get ready. Our trainers, Chris LePole and those guys do a great job. So he's spending a lot of time with them. So hopefully he's ready.
So he's hanging out with the guys that are trying to get him ready. Of course, Coach isn't going to give me the complete game plan here. No, he's going to be fine, I hope. I thought this team looked good without him. That's a plus. When he comes back, the team will look better with him. I hope that'll also be a plus. But when talking to Coach, he was in a good mood. It was a good week for the Thundering Herd. I'd be in a good mood, too.
First of all, it was a good week. It was good to be at home last week. We got 2 quality wins and headed on the road to JMU and just came out of a staff meeting and let those guys know. And we talked amongst ourselves that what we did here, we have to do 10 times better there. So looking forward to the opportunity. Should be a really good game. Those guys are physical. They play hard. They're well coached. So it's another big opportunity, big challenge for us ahead.
Got to take that show on the road, right? That's absolutely the right mindset. Whatever you did at home, you got to do that better on the road. And a little bit later on, when we were talking to Coach Jackson about the game and everything coming up, he did address it. As I pointed out earlier, if you weren't with us, Marshall this season 0-6 on the road, including 0-1 at Sun Belt venues. Been on the road one time in the Sun Belt, lost that one. 0-6 road record this season. You go back to last season, and again, these are games that are true road contests. Nothing about neutral games factor into this. So tournament games don't count. But Marshall has lost its last 13 road games, including this season, going back to last season. So I'm sure it's an elephant in the room. I'm sure that it's on the minds of the coaching staff. I'm not so sure as much for the players because players come and go. They have to have short memories. But Coach Jackson did talk about that very thing. The one thing that I will say he's trying to do, at least my thought was, let's not over talk about this. We know we got to win on the road, but let's not be paralyzed by it, is sort of my impression after this cut.
Yeah, you know what? It's a fine line. You know, I don't want these guys having so much pressure on them that they feel like, you know, they can't play basketball because they're thinking about winning on the road. Again, I much rather want them keep to stay committed to the process and eventually, you know, keep doing all the right things because we've been close. We played a really tough road schedule. But we've been close on the road. So, again, It's basketball. All right. Now I know we won't have our fans. You know, our fans play a huge role, a huge part in what we do here at home. Let's not get that twisted, right? So we won't have our fans on the road, but we'll still have, you know, the basketball court to be the same rim. The rims are the same height. So now it's about, you know, being 5 times better, you know, concentration wise, toughness wise, physicality wise, to be able to go on the road and get some W's.
I don't know if this would work, but if Coach Jackson, the fan of the movie Hoosiers, what you do is you go in there and you take the measuring tape and you go and you measure the court, measure the rim, everything, and just go, look, see, it's the same length, same everything. I don't know if that would work. But when he talks about that comes to mind because the court's the same, the rims, for the most part, are the same. Everything's the same. It's basketball court. How much of that is mental? How much of that is just playing a tough road schedule? How much of that is mental for this team right now? And how do you overcome some of that? I mean, part of that, again, you're playing some tough teams. Part of that is it's starting to creep in a little bit. You know, if you're a player, you know the record. You know what you are right now. You know you're 3-2 in league play. You know you're 10-8. I don't know if you know the net. Net came out. Hurts 212. James Madison's 152. I don't know if the players get into the net as much as people like myself, other sports types that talk about sports for a living or cover games, broadcasters, newspaper writers. We get into stuff like that. I don't know if the players, or do you even get into the net? But, you know, they know all the stats. They know what they're doing. They know everything. And so we don't have to tell anybody that this team is 0-6 on the road. We don't have to tell this coaching staff that it's lost its last 13. We don't have to tell them. The staff knows. So the good thing we can take away from this weekend was that the Herd shot better. The shot is what matters. That's it. Shoot the ball well. Get a good look, take a good shot. And so Coach talked about this because when Marshall shoots well, trying to run its offense, it makes things happen. And Coach, he feels like if this team shoots the ball well, it can play with anyone.
When we shoot the ball pretty consistent, I think we can play with anyone. We had a pretty good shooting week here at home. You know, now we have to pack that up and take it on the road with us. You know, Mike shot the ball well. Obviously, Jalen went going 7 for 7. Cade hit it, 3 threes against JMU, so 2 or 3 threes. So, again, whenever we shoot the ball well, we can play with anyone because our physicality is there. I think our toughness is there. We try to do the right things defensively. The Zane has been playing pretty well at the point guard spot, scoring and distributing the ball. So it's all about the consistency in our shooting, and if we do that, I'm confident in this team, and we can play with anyone in our conference.
And Jalen Spear, 7-7 in the game against JMU, and then comes out and hits his first 3. So at one point this weekend, this home series, these two teams, Jalen Spear was 10-0 from the three-point line. Some good shooting there. So the Thundering Herd as a team right now, 44.1% from the field. Thundering Herd is scoring 75.5 a contest, giving up 71.6. Those are the numbers, 44.1%. That number ticking up a little bit. The numbers I care about, wins and losses. Right now, the Herd shooting better. Marshall's on a 2-game win streak. But the shooting has been getting better. So, Coach was asked about the fact that this team is starting to get it. He described it as a light bulb has gone off. When he was asked about this question, it was Keith Morehouse, WSAZ. He asked him about this. Like, hey, coach, is it like a light bulb has just gone off? They know that if they shoot well, more people get into it. Good things happen. That was sort of the question he was asking, and it was interesting how Coach responded to that. And I understand why he's saying what he's saying. He says that this team is not talking about shooting. Now, obviously, they're talking about shooting, but they're not putting an emphasis on it. It's not being drilled into their head, because then I think that they start overthinking it. If the coaching staff is overthinking it, the players are overthinking it, then you're going to be overthinking it when you go out there. You don't want to overthink it. You just want to get in a position and you want to just shoot. It comes naturally. Once you got it, you got it. And so this was an interesting comment about that, just not really talking about shooting.
We try not to talk about shooting because it's one of those things where some teams let their shooting affect other parts of their game. I want these guys, again, we talk about if you're open, shoot it. If it's in your wheelhouse, shoot it. And we do a lot of shooting groups. 3 or 4 times a week we'll do shooting groups. So again, hopefully that's talking without talking, right? And these guys get in the gym on their own. So we try not to verbalize it in terms of, hey, you have to make this shot, because if you start doing that, now they're thinking, they're living and dying with every shot. So we want them to be confident, all right? 1, because they put in the work, they put in the time, and then 2, because you have a coach that's saying, hey, if you're open, shoot it. So we again, when we shoot the ball well, I feel we can play with anyone, and hopefully we can keep that going here on the road.
Makes sense. You don't want to overthink that. If you're open, it's a good shot, take the shot. I don't want Obina chucking up 7 or 8 or 9 3-pointers. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely don't want things like that happening. If it's a good shot, to use his terms, if it's in your wheelhouse and it's a good shot, you can take the shot. Something else he talked about. It was pointed out that the team has been shooting better, that the numbers show that this team is shooting better. It's performing better. And so Coach was asked a little bit about that, just to kind of expand on how better the team has been as far as shooting is concerned. And Coach is a positive guy, but he also kind of prefaces that by saying, you know what? Numbers can lie.
We try not to get really caught up on the numbers, because numbers can lie sometimes. So we just want to focus on growing, getting better every day, and that's what we'll come out and do in practice. That was our goal, and that was our mission all year, is just to get better every day. I feel these guys are working to do that. They come in with positive attitudes every day. They come in and they work their tails off, and it's always good to reap some benefits once you see the work coming to light.
I'm going to remember that. Numbers can lie. That's an absolutely perfect quote to hang on to. And finally, from today, one more I wanted to play for you. If you're into analytics, and I kind of like it, but I'm not living and dying by it. I don't have this subscription to all the analytic services. But the numbers are saying that this team is playing faster. This team is both sides of the ball. It's playing faster. And so Coach was asked, have you noticed that? Is the game flowing better for this team? Do you believe that to be the case? Again, Coach isn't necessarily a numbers guy, but he does believe that this team and this whole shooting match is getting better. He does agree that right now, playing faster, this team is flowing better.
I do. I like to get out. Mike Dawson is really good when we can get out and transition. He hits some transition threes. So is Jalen Spears. All of our guys, whenever we kick it ahead, that puts pressure on the defense. All right, so what the defense does, it flattens it. So when you have guys running, the defense flattens the defense, and now you kick it up. The kickback may be open, or you may be able to penetrate and drive and kick to someone. Or the big sets the ball screen, and then he may be open for a lob, If not, then we teach our guys to, let's say you set the ball screen. This guy's coming out of the corner. If you're coming this way, he's rolling because this man usually helps, and now you can hit the back. So whenever you have the ball moving, then we call the ball humming around, it always makes your offense, and then you're making shots, always makes your offense flow a little better.
So things are flowing better. The Thundering Herd, winners of the last two. The Thundering Herd now on the road, taking on this James Madison team. Should be an interesting rematch. We got more coming up, including your text. I promise we're going to get to all of that when we continue on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% to help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Save big money now at Menards. Stand up to life's messes with our great selection of durable and waterproof flooring. Great Lakes vinyl plank flooring is easy to install and is durable, pet-friendly, and waterproof. Plus, it has sound-reducing attached pad for added comfort. Update your spaces with Great Lakes Legends vinyl plank flooring through January 26th for just $2.99 per square foot. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Need to expand or remodel your building? Increase your inventory or have access to working capital? Let our experienced business loan team help you grow your business. We specialize in business loans. Ohio Valley Bank, a better way to bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at ovbc.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We got a few texts that have come in during the break. Let's get to those now. First up, texter says, Paul, let's be patient with new coaches and the new roster until the Sun Belt Conference tournament time. I agree with that. Absolutely, I agree with that. New coach, first year head coach, period. You're 3-2 in league right now, if you're looking at this. 3-2. I'll take that. Should be 4-1 to be fair. Should be 4-1. Should have won all 4 games. Nobody should, but it was very possible this team could be 4-1 right now in league play. And I don't know. I felt good about Marshall going down and beating Southern Miss that day. I know he walked into a hornet's nest there. Supposed hornet's nest anyway. I know they put a lot of emphasis on that game with the recruits and the unveiling of the new head coach. So big deal there. Big atmosphere, or at least that was the hope. And so I know there's a lot of emphasis on that game. And then Marshall comes back home, possibly could have won all 4, 3-1. I'll take that. You go on the road. It's now time to kind of make a point. You're going on the road. You're going to face a team you just faced off against. You are going to face a team that has lost several games on the road. It's a team that has not been able to find success on the road, like Marshall. Very good at home, though. And then you have a coach in Preston Spradling. Right now, 1-4 lifetime against the Thundering Herd, including this year, lifetime 1-4. I feel good. I feel optimistic. Absolutely feel good about this team going into that situation and playing. I mean, App State handled them easily, 86-66. Sort of what I was hoping that Marshall would do to Georgia Southern. There were more opportunities there. So, as coaches say, you got to clean that up. And I think that the Thundering Herd is on the right path right now. More from our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, Coach Corny is good and a Marshall guy. I remember watching him playing when I was a kid. Glad he is our coach. Just give him some more time, and I think we will win the Sun Belt Conference and get into the tourney. Maybe not this year, but soon. Go Herd. I mean, that's the hope. Absolutely the hope. If it's not this year, let's get this thing going. It's not a knock on the Sun Belt, but this is a winnable league. Marshall can put it together. Marshall can put it together and play basketball that fans like myself, like you, grew up on back in the golden era of Marshall basketball. Marshall could win this thing easily. Got to put it together. I say that. They've got to put it together, though. And that means making sure that you're active in the transfer portal. And that's not a knock on Dan. I know Corny is going to be more active in the transfer portal. Corny is going to have a stronger emphasis on defense. Corny's going to have those Dan D'Antoni tendencies. That was his coach. That was his mentor. So, of course, it's going to be similar. But what can Corny add to it? What can Corny do with it and make it his own at the same time? Make it better. And I think that's playing strong defense. Emphasize quality shots. I don't want guys chucking it up just because it's there. If it's a good shot, and I like how he qualified that. If it's a good shot, if it's open and it's in your wheelhouse. Nate Martin, if he takes one now and then, I'm fine with it. If Nate starts chucking them up for three, I'm going to have a problem unless he's knocking them all down. But at the same time, if Nate starts hitting threes, coach is going to be cool. He's going to be happy with that. Absolutely. He's not going to take issue with a guy taking a shot if it was open and he thought Now, if it was a bad look, that's another thing. But if it's a good look, it's a good possibility, take the shot. But at the same time, I don't want this team just to go out there and first available open shot, take it. I'd like to see this team work it inside a little bit more, whatever's available. But if this team's also on the break and there's a lot of transition baskets, I'm good with that as well. I just don't want to see Marshall just start to lob three-pointers at will. Take good shots, and if it's there, if you're hot, again, if Jalen Spear is feeling it, let him feel it. I'm not against that at all. I just want to see good shot selection, and I think that's all going to come. I feel confident here. I'm not in a situation where I'm worried about where this team is going right now. I know it's going to take some time to bring it back. But at the end of the day, I think Marshall can win this Sun Belt. Maybe not this year, but this is a winnable league. This isn't like football where it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Basketball, I think there's an opportunity for Marshall to really start to build the program and be one of those consistent top teams every year competing for the league championship and getting that NCAA berth. Once you're in the NCAA tournament, it doesn't matter where you come from. Everybody's got the same shot. That's what I like about the NCAA tournament. The college football playoff may be a little different. After all, a team that lost to Northern Illinois is playing for the national championship. Absolutely. Positively. Unthinkable. But here we are. Ohio State and Notre Dame. Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More of your texts coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the Better Bank in Summit, Ashland, Catlettsburg, and Louisa. Online at kfb.bank. GoMart, go for good times, go for GoMart. Bluegrass Drip, Wellness and Aesthetics in Ashland. On Facebook and Instagram at Bluegrass DRYP.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news. A CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's our final segment for today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. You can also find me on X, that's formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. I'm all over the place now. I'm trying out Blue Sky. I don't know if you're familiar with Blue Sky. It's sort of like Twitter. That's where a lot of sports types have migrated to. I'm trying Threads out as well. Threads is cool. It's from Meta, the same people that bring you Facebook. But Blue Sky has been all right so far. I found a lot of sports voices over there. So if you're looking sort of an alternative, I'm hanging out over there as well. You can find me at Paul Swann there. So I've got a link in my bio on my Twitter handle, my X handle, and it'll easily take you to all those social media networks. So let's get the text line going again, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. A lot of craziness going on these last couple of days. We've got football action for you coming up tonight here as the Rams taking on the Vikings. We go on the air at 7:30. Going to be the final wild card game before we get to the divisional round. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen going to be squaring off in the AFC divisional round. That's going to be fun. And then you have Kansas City playing host to Houston. I don't know which team to root against the most in that one. I'm not a Houston Texans fan. The Houston Texans, to me, are just another version of the Houston Oilers. Not a big fan. So absolutely going to be rooting against both teams in that one. And then how about the Washington Commanders? Commanders taking on the Detroit Lions. Beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know about you, but I'm rooting all the way. I think I'm going to have to take the Detroit Lions. That's the bandwagon pick. It would make a lot of people I know happy. Spencer Atkins, Storm Tracker 13, huge Detroit Lions fan. The voice of the herd, Steve Cotton, big Detroit guy. That might be the fashionable pick. Take the Detroit Lions. I'm not rooting for the Chiefs. I usually root for the AFC champion. I don't think I'm doing that this year. I'm actually going to pull for the Lions in this one. It's all going to be right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm also looking for an application right now. I think I can be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones runs that team anyway. I would just stand there, hold the clipboard. Mike McCarthy's not returning next season. Went 7-10. And so the contract, sort of like what happened with Marshall. Sort of like the contract just ran out. And it's up. McCarthy did all right. Unfortunately for him, this team could not advance past the NFC divisional round. And I saw on most social media, wasn't there a discussion? The Cowboys trade Mike McCarthy for Mike Tomlin, and I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? That might actually be good for all parties involved. Mike Tomlin going to Dallas, And then McCarthy going to Pittsburgh, that might actually be a brilliant idea. I don't think that's going to happen now. So the Cowboys, how about them Cowboys looking for a new head coach? And then the one story that blew up that I'm actually happy that blew up because you don't see this usually, something positive. I don't know if you were watching the Philadelphia Eagles game. I was listening to it, so I came to this later. But A.J. Brown was spotted reading self-help author Jim Murphy's book called Inner Excellence. This book has skyrocketed in sales. It is right now, at this moment, #1 on Amazon's bestseller list. It's a self-help book. I'm looking at it right now. I'm debating, do I get a Kindle copy of this thing? Do I get a hard copy of this thing? The Eagles won that game. I don't know. I'll take it. If it's good enough for A.J. Brown, and it's actually someone left a review, I saw that. It was good enough for A.J. Brown, it was good enough for them. So the book's called Inner Excellence. If you're looking for a gift idea for me, I'll take a copy of this thing. Text line says, Paul, the Cowboys are going to hire Dion. Let's go. Would Dion take that job? Absolutely not. Dion's not taking that job. Unless the Cowboys draft his son, Dion's not taking that job. Stay right there. Be Coach Prime. Be Coach Prime at Colorado. You'll get further. Stay right there. I don't want to see that happen. Actually, maybe I do. Maybe I do want to see that happen. Coach Prime, you think, honestly, you think we get to the NFL that coaches are going to call him Coach Prime? Opposing coaches are going to call him Coach Prime? I don't know. I could be off on that one, but I don't know if those shenanigans work in the no fun league. But Coach Prime going to the Cowboys? No way. By the way, I'm not a Cowboys fan to begin with, but I would actually be more interested. If it was Coach Prime, I would actually probably be more interested in the Cowboys. They usually play after the Bengals. I could fit that in my schedule. Bengals aren't doing anything right now. I could fit that into my schedule. No, I thought it over. Not doing it. Don't forget, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. Also, if you missed anything today from the show, you'd like to go back, listen to it again, or previous episodes, it's available now on our podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It's completely free. All you have to do is hit follow, like, subscribe, and it'll be delivered right to you every time a new episode is uploaded and made available. And if you can't listen live, you can listen on your time. So I appreciate it. And, of course, don't forget, wherever you're at right now on social media, give me a follow. I'm posting to all three of the big ones right now. Wherever you're at, let me know. I'll be there with you as well. Thanks for tuning in. Back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.